Horrific news might have dropped that Keir Starmer looks set, Sir Keir Starmer, I should say, Knight of the Realm, looks set to make Sadiq Khan, the lousy London mayor, a Knight of the Realm in his New Year honours list, along with Emily Thornberry, that other mediocrity of no achievement, who Keir wants to make a dame. As they say, everybody thought he must have meant a pantomime dame. So, you know, Labour losers getting honoured in the Prime Minister.
She described that relationship between the mayor and the Met as, in her words, dysfunctional. But when it comes... So I hope when he stands up, he will also confirm to the House that he will take up these matters with the Labour Mayor of London.
Sadiq Khan has spent years cultivating his image as the face of modern London, progressive, inclusive and unapologetically global. To international observers, he represents a multicultural success story. To the media, he's a symbol of forward-thinking leadership in a post-Brexit Britain. But beneath that polished exterior, the cracks are beginning to show, and they're widening fast. For many Londoners, that image no longer aligns with reality. Violent crime is no longer a distant statistic, it's a daily fear. Knife attacks, gang violence, moped robberies and antisocial behaviour have become persistent features of urban life. Community confidence in public safety has eroded, and the city's response, slower policing, slashed budgets, and a mayor more focused on media optics than neighbourhood security.
After 8.5 years with Sadiq Khan as mayor, London is less safe, it's more congested, and it's harder than ever to get on a property ladder. After 8.5 years as mayor, Sadiq Khan is getting a knighthood. I think this is a terrible example of the political class looking after itself and not the people who elected it. It's a kick in the teeth for the 1,000 victims of mobile phone theft every week in London. It's a kick in the teeth for the families, businesses and charity who, already hit by ULEZ, will now have to pay the Blackwall Tunnel tax as well. It's a kick in the teeth for London's Jewish community, who for the past 15 months have faced an unprecedented campaign of fear and intimidation on London streets. And it's a kick in the teeth for all Londoners stung by the 71% increase in Khan's share of the council tax since 2016. We think another politics is possible. A politics that puts hard-working Londoners first. So right across the country, and in London, Reform UK is the fastest growing political party. Join us today, and together let's make 2025 the year we truly change politics for good.
What made things worse? Khan's own admission that he no longer feels safe in London. For a man who holds the city's highest office, that statement wasn't just a PR blunder. It was a psychological blow to millions of residents who don't have the privilege of a security detail. If the mayor himself doesn't feel safe in his own city, what hope is left for those navigating London streets alone? Meanwhile, a different political current is rising. Reform UK, once mocked as a single-ish post-Brexit sideshow, has transformed into something far more dangerous for the establishment, a serious contender. With sharpened messaging, working-class appeal and unapologetic confidence, they've positioned themselves as the voice of the ignored. And they've chosen Khan's London as their proving ground. Reform UK isn't playing nice. They've accused Khan of overseeing a city in decline where ideology takes precedence over public service. Led by firebrand defectors like Lee Anderson, they're tearing into both Labour and the Conservatives, claiming the old parties are too timid to fix what's broken. And their message is landing, particularly among working-class voters, disillusioned Labour supporters and young people priced out of the city's housing market.
The Labour Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, is to receive a knighthood in the New Year's honours list. Does he deserve it? Ben, what do you think?
Well, he deserves a lot of things, and knighthood's not one of them. For what is he being given this knighthood? Crossrail was late and over budget. Knife crime in London is up. TfL doesn't work. It's basically bust and had to be rescued by the government. Council taxes are going through the roof. Police, there aren't enough police on the streets in London. I mean, any metric you wish to choose about London, it's basically deteriorated over his time in office. I wouldn't give him anything. I'd be booting out of the office. I'd abolish the role of the mayoralty of London.
Bill, this is just convention, though, formality, isn't it? When a party gets into power, anybody elected, senior, he's been elected for 2 terms, just gets an honour.
Well, let me just come back to Ben. I mean, you know, the electorate don't agree with you. He's been elected 3 times in a row with a much bigger margin this time. But I don't agree with serving politicians getting knighthoods. I actually think people are very cynical about it. It sends out the wrong message. I'm not sure why a serving politician would want to be a knight.
Yes,
They're not just talking about problems. They're weaponising frustration. Reform UK is making bold claims. Hundreds of seats at the next general election. Critics call it unrealistic. But those watching closely know it only takes a few major upsets in London to shatter the illusion of political stability. The mayor's legacy is on the line. His leadership has become the target of a movement that feeds on public resentment and governmental inertia. But the real question now isn't about Sadiq Khan's political survival. It's about the future of the capital itself. Can Reform UK convert rage into real results? Or is this yet another wave of populist noise that fizzles out before the system resets itself? One thing's for sure, London is no longer just the backdrop for Britain's political drama. It's become the battleground, and the fight for its future has only just begun.
I asked you this question last week and you found every which way but not to answer it. Just how many grooming gangs have we got in London?
To avoid any misunderstanding, can she define what she means by that?
Yes, if you look at what's gone on in Rotherham, where there are people taking young girls, grooming them for sex, that is what I'm talking about.
We know in London there are issues about exploitation of young people, but they're not as defined by the member in her definition of what those types of gangs are.
So are you saying we haven't got the same sort of gangs that are in Rotherham, Bradford and lots of other places in the country?
Just for you to misunderstanding, what does she mean by that?
You know full well what I mean by that. It's all over the television. You know exactly what I mean by that. These gangs of people that are grooming young girls for sex. Do we actually have those in London?
Today, I'm unclear, Chair, what is meant by the question. If you could spell it out, I can answer.
I've just spelt it out. Are you not listening? It's the sort of gangs that groom young girls at a young age for sex. Exactly how much clearer do you want me to be?
On one side, he's celebrated in international circles. Media outlets in New York, Berlin and Paris praise him for embracing diversity, pushing green initiatives and presenting a modern, inclusive image of the UK's capital. He's been invited to global summits, shared stages with tech billionaires, and spoken about equality and progress with polished ease. But on the other side, here at home, the sentiment is very different. Many Londoners feel like they're living in a city that's unravelling at the seams. Under Khan's administration, violent crime has become a grim daily headline. Knife attacks are no longer isolated tragedies, they've become a persistent threat. Moped gangs terrorise residents in broad daylight. Burglaries, assaults and antisocial behaviour have climbed year on year. Despite official press briefings offering carefully worded reassurance, the numbers tell a colder truth. For thousands of residents, walking the streets now comes with unease. The cracks in the mayor's leadership are not just statistical, they're deeply personal. Parents are nervous letting their children commute alone. Small business owners feel abandoned as thefts and break-ins go uninvestigated. Community policing, once a lifeline for many boroughs, has been hollowed out. Critics argue Khan's leadership style is focused on surface appeal rather than structural solutions. They point to the city's shrinking police presence and question why public funds are being diverted into publicity campaigns instead of frontline services. Then there's ULEZ, the ultra-low emission zone. Originally introduced as an environmental measure, it has evolved into one of the most controversial policies of Khan's tenure. While the goal of cleaner air is broadly supported, the execution has sparked fury. Expansion into outer boroughs has meant that everyday workers, plumbers, nurses, delivery drivers are being hit with daily fees they simply can't afford. For many, ULEZ has become less about saving the planet and more about draining their wallets. This has gone beyond policy disagreement. It feels like betrayal. Residents feel blindsided. Promises of consultation were, in many cases, superficial. Councils across London pushed back, legal battles were launched, protests erupted, but Khan remained defiant, framing opposition as resistance to progress. That framing only deepened the divide between City Hall and the people it's supposed to serve. Public frustration is also boiling over in other areas, especially housing. Rents are soaring, affordable housing schemes are mired in red tape or swallowed by private developers. Khan's housing record, once a flagship promise, has fallen drastically short of targets. And with cost of living pressures mounting, many Londoners feel the safety net is gone. The deeper issue isn't just about crime or housing, it's about trust. Many now view Khan's administration as distant and overly focused on optics. Glossy videos, perfectly timed photo ops, and progressive buzzwords fill the mayor's digital feed. But in neighbourhoods like Croydon, Barking and Tottenham, the disconnect is loud and growing. Cultural festivals that once brought communities together have been quietly defunded. Long-standing civic events have been replaced with newer, headline-grabbing initiatives that critics say serve ideology more than community cohesion. For lifelong Londoners, this shift feels alienating. They're watching their city change, not just in landscape but in identity. And they're asking the same question. Who is London really for now? Into this vacuum of leadership steps Reform UK. Once seen as a fringe movement, dismissed as a post-Brexit leftover, the party is undergoing a transformation. And central to that shift is Lee Anderson, the blunt, unfiltered voice now leading the charge in London. His defection from the Conservative Party wasn't just a political move, it was a signal flare. Anderson isn't polished, he doesn't play by Westminster rules, but that's precisely why he's resonating. He speaks in plain terms, often too blunt for mainstream media, but refreshing for voters who feel gaslit by both Labour and the Conservatives. His criticism of Sadiq Khan has been relentless, branding the mayor's record as not just inadequate, but dangerous. And while critics accuse him of populism, supporters see a man finally saying what they've felt for years. Anderson's appeal isn't just rhetoric, it's timing. With London simmering in discontent, his rise has given Reform UK something it desperately needed: relevance. No longer confined to side columns or niche debates, the party is planting its flag in the heart of Britain's capital. They're hosting rallies, drawing crowds and gaining traction in areas previously dominated by Labour. What's remarkable is not just who's showing up, it's who isn't. These aren't die-hard right-wingers. These are disenchanted former Labour voters, frustrated small business owners, exhausted parents and young professionals prized out of their own city. Reform UK is harvesting the political fallout of years of unaddressed grievances. Their strategy? Keep it simple, keep it direct. They're not trying to win the culture war, they're waging a practical one. Focus on crime, call out the housing disaster, expose failures in education and transport, challenge unchecked immigration and rising taxes. And most of all, offer an alternative that feels grounded in reality, not spun in political PR. While Labour and the Conservatives fight each other for control of the middle ground, Reform UK is moving in with both feet, taking aim at the issues voters care most about. And they're doing it with a playbook built on urgency, not nuance. This isn't just a political shift, it's an emotional one. Voters aren't just sceptical, they're angry. Years of promises have produced little change. Institutions feel distant. City Hall feels deaf. So when a party comes along and says, "We see it too, and we're not afraid to fix it," it hits differently. The mainstream parties are starting to feel the pressure. Inside Labour HQ, the data is troubling. Inner city support is holding, but outer boroughs are shifting. The Conservatives are barely able to maintain their base in London, let alone grow it. And every strong soundbite from Anderson chips away at their credibility. Reform UK's momentum isn't hypothetical, it's measurable. Their polling is creeping up. Social media engagement is surging. Local council races are now being contested in areas they previously avoided. And if they gain just a few seats in the next general election, especially in London, it will shatter the idea that they're merely a protest movement. Behind all of this is a wider truth. The centre cannot hold. The political middle ground in Britain is shrinking. Voters want clear choices, firm leadership and practical solutions. They're not asking for perfection. They're asking for someone to care about their problems without dancing around them. Sadiq Khan, for many, no longer fits that role. His administration, despite noble ambitions, is seen as prioritizing image over results. His defenders point to long-term environmental gains and social programs, but his critics, who are multiplying, point to the day-to-day struggles, the crime, the housing crisis, the cost of living burden, and the growing sense of cultural dislocation. And perhaps most damagingly, they point to his refusal to change course. Even as Ule's protests exploded, even as knife crime surged, even as community groups begged for funding and support, the mayor stayed on message, doubling down rather than engaging in dialogue. That rigidity has cost him more than support. It's cost him trust. So now, the question is no longer, can Reform UK win? It's what happens if they do. What would a London under Lee Anderson's influence look like? Could Reform UK actually bring meaningful reform, or are they simply capitalising on the chaos? Those answers aren't clear yet, but what is clear is this: they've forced themselves into the conversation. And in politics, sometimes that's all it takes. London isn't just another city, it's a symbol. It represents the direction of Britain itself. And if Reform UK can shake the foundations here, then no party, Labour or Conservative, will be safe in the rest of the country. The uprising is no longer silent. It's vocal, energised, and organising fast. The people waking up to Reform UK's message aren't asking for miracles. They're asking for acknowledgement, for action, for a mayor who puts public safety above public image, for a government that serves, not lectures, and for a country that works for the people paying the price to live in it. We're at a tipping point. What happens next could redefine not just London politics, but the national political landscape for a generation. Whether this is a one-time rebellion or the start of a full realignment remains to be seen. But make no mistake, the mood has shifted. So, what do you think? Are we witnessing the rise of a real alternative, or just another loud chapter in a broken system? Let us know in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, because this story is far from over and you won't want to miss what comes next.